The time right now is 2:02 p.m. Wednesday, November 29th. Again, this meeting is called to order. Today's date is November 29th, Wednesday, 2023. It's 2:02 p.m. In compliance with Public Law 24-109, Guam Ancestral Lands Commission published a public meeting announcement for Wednesday, November 29, 2023, in the Guam Daily Post on Monday, November 20, 2023, and Monday, November 27, 2023. Director, roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, Chairman Eclevea,
Present.
Vice Chairman Laguarnia,
Yeah.
Secretary Treasurer Cruz,
Here.
Commissioner Camacho. I see you, Commissioner Camacho, but I didn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Orlino,
Here.
Commissioner Rios. And Mr. Chair, I don't see Commissioner Rios logged on just yet. Hopefully, okay, he's at the hospital with a family issue. He said he'll log in later on if he's able to.
Okay, noted.
Commissioner Wesley. Commissioner Wesley informed us earlier that she too is at the hospital with a family emergency.
Okay.
And
No,
if
noted,
she's
Director.
able to, she will log in. Mr. Chair,
Okay.
we do have a quorum. We have 5 members present.
Okay, sounds good. Let's move down then to number 3, item number 3, approval of minutes. October 11, 23 regular meeting.
Yeah, I wasn't present on that last meeting, so I did review it though, but go ahead, you guys can approve it. While I eat my lunch.
We have, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
The chair, Secretary Treasurer Cruz has her hand raised.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Let me see how to
No
get
problem.
back on this.
I'd like to make a motion to
I'm
approve the October 11, 2023 meeting, subject to correction for audio recordings for that meeting.
Okay, a motion on the floor to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, second by Commissioner Orlino. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any nays? No nays. We have motion passes, Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, we move down to item 4, Director's report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. First off, I'd like to welcome Deputy Attorney General Frank Kumatauto. He's our legal counsel for the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission. So hopefully we'll have him with us for a year, 2 or 3 more years. Attorney.
Welcome. Welcome, of course.
We thank you very much, and we thank the Attorney General for allowing you to help us here today and in our meetings. We do handle some very interesting topics. Okay, so now my report, Mr. Chair. On November 1, 2023, we had an oversight hearing. The Committee on Health, Land, Justice, and Culture held an oversight hearing with regards to the Ancestral Lands Commission's Land Bank inventory, our revenues, our accounts and receivable. During the hearing, I had the opportunity to inform the speaker about the Commission's budget shortfall. Specifically, I highlighted that the budget allotment submitted to the Department of Administration would only be sufficient to fund our operations through the 3rd quarter of FY24. Considering the financial constraint, I explained that if the Commission did not receive additional funding, it would regrettably necessitate a reduction in Commission staff by 1 position. The Speaker responded by affirming that the GALC FY 2024 budget appropriation was mandated by law, and pretty much told me that we're to work within our means. Okay, in summary, the public law, which is the Budget Act, that's Public Law 3742, resulted in the Commission being removed from the Government of Guam General Fund. The adequacy of the FY24 GLC budget appropriation of $444,396 from the Commission's Survey, Infrastructure, and Development Fund, along with 50% of the net proceeds from the lease of Lot 10192, that's the AT&T lease, to sustain our current operations is evaluated following. Our budget breakdown, as simply as I can make it, is our annual gross lease proceeds from the Polaris properties amount to $444,396 minus the GITA service fee of 14.3%, leaves us a net amount of $380,848. Our annual gross lease proceeds from AT&T amount to $134,360, again minus the GITA service fee of 14.3%, leaves us a net of $115,147. The total net lease proceeds from both the Polaris and AT&T properties, excuse me, amount to $495,995. That represents our total operating budget. The Commission's FY24 budget request was set at $596,865, and based on the budget appropriation, it is evident that there is a budget shortfall of $100,371. This shortfall poses a significant challenge for the Commission in meeting its financial obligations for the fiscal year. A major component of the Commission's budget is dedicated to salaries and benefits for its staff. For FY24, the Commission's salary and benefits alone amount to $443,092, and our total budget is $444,000. So there's no funds left over for rent, for any lease, for meetings, for stipends. I mean, we have barely enough money in our budget appropriation, just enough to pay salaries and benefits for the staff. We don't have any funds in there available to pay anything else, period. We took a big cut. I mean, our budget this year is less than last year. And although we do have close to $1 million in the city account, and we expect to be raising quite a bit more again this year, the legislature saw fit to reduce us. So basically, the primary factors that contribute to this was one, we employed an admin assistant, which the legislature last year passed a bill, which became law, so that we could hire an additional employee to assist us here. And then there was an adjustment in my salary for the executive director salary. It was a minimal amount, but it was still an adjustment. We had regular salary increments, but the big one was the implementation of the 22% personnel services pay increase. So while the legislature did authorize to do things that we did for FY23, in FY24, they removed it. So I'm going to be forced to reduce our staff by 1. So while we do have a small staff, it will be smaller before the end of this calendar year. And the ones that will be remaining will be, of course, the classified staff. So it's a tough decision. I've already informed the person that will be involved with this. And she's done a great job. She came in from the Department of Labor senior program about almost 3 years ago. She helped us build this organization, this agency, to what it is today. And she's done a great job here. She's been very loyal, on time. You'll know her. So it's kind of hard to say thank you for your service. Thank you for all the work you've done, your loyalty to the agency, the commission, and the board, and getting our work done. But our budget's been cut severely. And what really takes me aback is that while other agencies receive significant increases, and we have the resources to continue operating as we are, the legislature saw fit to cut our budget. And I did bring this to the attention of our oversight chair and who is also the speaker of the legislature, and the response I got was not favorable. Okay, along with this, other things did occur. And since our last meeting, October 16, I received a letter from the governor on October 16th, giving me collateral duties in accordance with the Department of Administration personnel rules and regulations. I was detailed to the position of Administrative Director of the Chamorro Land Trust Commission in an acting capacity until further notice. This detail is a collateral assignment to my current duties here as Executive Director of the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission. So I am here, I'm carrying 2 hats now, and you've probably seen that in the media. We've been getting a lot of coverage because of our support for the, for leasing or selling property, where the board agreed to lease or sell property for the medical complex. And because I carry 2 hats now, with the CLTC, the other issue there, of course, is the EPAL properties, which is under CLTC. So we've been in the media quite a bit these last few weeks. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of about what I'm forced to do, but we have to make sure that the agency continues, and everybody that works here in this agency today has been a major part of reestablishing it. You know that when we came in, we didn't have an office, we didn't have a chair or desk, we have barely anything. But now that we built it up, it's sad that the appropriation was passed that cut our budget severely. We're extremely frugal in the way we spend our funds, and we've been building up and finding ways to grow the land bank and to grow the SID fund for our operations. And while we've been successful at that, the sad thing is that was not taken into account, and now we must reduce staff. Otherwise, we are only budgeted. We submitted our budget allotments to Department of Administration, informing them that we can only keep our doors open up through the end of the 3rd quarter. So to keep us operating further, I find no other option other than the legislature increasing our budget by 100,000 or more. Do we have the money in our accounts? The answer is yes. But if they don't see fit to allow us to access it, I have no choice. And so we've already discussed this here in the office with the staff. They're all aware of it. And it's sad that this news has to come out around the Christmas season. It's hard for me to make that decision, but it's a decision that I'm here to make. So I just thought you all should know about this.
Are you going?
So commissioners, that's my report. I thank you for the opportunity to provide you this update. Let me know if you require more information.
Thank you, Director. Is there anything we can continue to do?
If
As
we
far
can
as-
lobby the legislature, we have the money. That's the sad thing. We have the funds in our account. Well, we're allowed to also access our lapses until we're done with our audit. We're right now going through a financial audit, but because of the changeover with the administration and the AG's office, there was a delay in getting our contract for Ernst & Young passed. But now that it's through and we're working through it, we should be almost done of our financial audit. We'll see what we can do and see how much lapses we have from the prior year's budget. The legislature gave us the opportunity, and I did note it, and I included that, to access 50% of the AT&T lease, but 50% is what I added in. Even with that, we're short 100,000. So, and again, with that, until we collect the funds, actually till the money is on hand, DOA will not honor that because the legislature did not give us a definite amount of money to access there. They simply said $444,396. It did not include the amount that was estimated for the 50% of the AT&T lease. So until we have that money in hand and show that we actually have collected it, DOA will not allow us to include that in our budget allotment. So yeah, we're going to be operating on a shoestring. So you see, I don't have any choice in the matter.
So
but like I
Director,
said,
did
Yeah.
they just completely disregard our budget requests?
Yes. I mean, it shows very clearly. They cut us by 100,000, and you know that we have not been operating. We've been operating on a shoestring since we started. And the sad thing is that the staff here, we're small, but we're able to build us up to where we're at today. And that's the
Okay,
sad that now we're being forced to cut.
Okay,
So-
notwithstanding any other questions from the board, but could we schedule in the next session, at least, and put it on the agenda to have a discussion on
Okay.
this, on the next meeting? So we can
Right.
get the input from everyone in the board?
Okay, yeah, because I can stretch this out. It's just that how far I can do it, I have to make a decision
Well,
soon.
Let's
But we'll-
include it
we'll-
on the next meeting,
Okay.
please.
Okay, this will
Okay.
be on the agenda for new business.
Okay,
More
board
questions?
members, any questions for the director on his report?
Yes, I do. I have a question.
Well,
Yes.
who raised their hands first?
Angie,
It's hard. I'm on my phone, so just bear with me. My computer's updating. It's Zoom. So okay, I don't know who had their hands first. I'm sorry.
Commissioner Camacho
I
is
don't know
signaling,
whoever writes it, I don't mind.
Commissioner
Okay,
Camacho
let's
is
yield to
pointing
the
over
lady.
to you, Commissioner
Okay.
Cruz.
I'll go, so we'll make it quick.
Okay,
Director Birch, is it possible to ask Chamorro Land Trust Commission if they could share your salary while you're there under collateral duties, and that could take some of the financial obligations to share it?
That'll- that's another angle we're working on right now. And I think
That's
we
a
could
great
resolve
idea.
some of these issues. Yeah, we're working on that right now. Also for our employee that was informed, I'm already working on that too. So I'm trying to do the
That's a
best I
great
can. This is a hard time during the Christmas season to tell somebody, thank you for your service. You've been a great help. You help us establish the agency. You're now terminated. So no, I won't let that happen. I'll do my best to protect our staff here as best I can. It's just a
Also-
very tough
yeah.
decision.
Also, the reality is we really don't know how long that collateral duty will be. So this may just be a temporary solution, but perhaps if you
Yes.
could bridge that with CLTC, maybe we can share some of the expenses.
Yes, we're working on that. So,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, that's kind of an advantage I have working together with the CLTC right now. The other side of the angle is I got double the workload. So, but if it takes that to take care of our staff here, I would do it.
Yeah,
So-
I
Well,
that's a-
understand that.
That's
I
a great
understand that
suggestion, Commissioner
completely.
Camacho, though. Great suggestion.
Yes, thank you for your recommendations, Commissioner. Commissioner Cruz, you had your hand up?
Okay, now, we may be losing one employee at the end of the year. What is the impact and who is going to be taking over her responsibilities in the meantime until we get the situation on being shorthanded by one resolved?
The duties will be shared by the others. I mean, there's not much more we can do. Already, the staff here are working, they're classified, but they're working outside and beyond their job descriptions, and they've not complained. So I thank them for that. That's what makes our team a very good cohesive team. I hate to lose any one of them. We've grown kind of close here because it is a small agency. And so to do something like this is very difficult, but we do have a budget, and the speaker made it very clear to me that it's the law, and we all know who passes the law. We know who are supposed to have oversight over us to make sure that our agency is able to function. But it's happened before where the commission failed, where we had one employee, no office, no equipment, and basically no board. But we brought it back to life over 3 years ago, and I don't want to lose it. I mean, if there's anything, I'm proud of what the agency has been able to accomplish in that period of time. We've really moved forward quite a bit. So I don't want to see it go backwards, but we do have good staff here. Sometimes decisions have to be made. And that's what I'm here to make, are those decisions when it comes to administration, and for the board, you're there to make the other difficult decisions when it comes to the people that we serve, when you decide your policies. So that's what we do as leaders. We have to make these decisions. Sometimes they're hard, but we have to work with what we have. But I'll do my best to make any transfer or release as easy as possible. And yes, Commissioner Camacho had a great idea, and that's something that we've worked on already. I've been trying to find different ways out of it. I brought this to the legislature's attention at the last hearing or oversight. I've been in so many of those, I forget which one is which. And the response I got was, you have a budget, live within your means. But the thing is we do have the funding to support our operations, and I expect us to have more in the coming year. So, that's the thing I don't understand, but we don't sit at the legislature. We don't make the budget. We simply tell them what we need. And I've never padded our budget. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe I should have padded it, and put a lot in. I've just been completely honest. And maybe that's a problem, being too honest about what we actually need. So, yeah, we've been operating on a shoestring. And so anyway, this is coming our way. I'll take care of it. That's why you have me here. And I've already started making the necessary adjustments. So I spoke with the staff. It's just we're hoping for a better Christmas season than this announcement.
Okay, thank you, Director.
Okay,
Any other
thank you.
questions for the Director?
You know what, you guys? I don't understand.
No further
We're not-
questions?
We're not funded under the general fund.
Vice Chair?
Can you hear me? We're not funded under the general fund. Am I correct?
You're correct, Vice Chair.
Then why are we we're operating generally as an autonomous agency, just like GIAA, Port Authority of Guam, GPA. We have our own funds. What law is that? Now, can you advise me, Mr. Gumatauto, as to why we have to work our budget, get approved from the legislature when we generate our own funds?
The money belongs to the public. You don't generate your own funds.
No, it
I know
doesn't. It does not belong to the public. These monies belong to the heirs of the original landowners, the dispossessed landowners. It does not belong to the people of Guam. Only the displaced original landowners. Make that clear. And they need to know that too. And I'm really upset at that, you know. We need to clarify that. We need to go down and fight for this.
Exactly.
Why are we listening to them? This does not belong to the people of Guam. This belongs specifically to the original landowners and their heirs, the dispossessed landowners. And I'm sorry. And we need to look into that. Frank, I think, sorry, welcome back, Frank. We worked together at GDOE. I remember you just kind of look a little bit.
we're all a team, but you know,
We all
we're
got older.
a public commission and we're acting on behalf of the public. And we're handling all of this on behalf of the public.
I don't see it that way.
Well,
We,
I understand.
yeah, because we are separating, we are a very unique commission. A very unique commission because we are dealing with that lands that were occupied, you know, condemned lands. And
Probably
that's
don't
how I see it. I'm telling you, I think we need to go visit the legislature, talk to them about that and tell them that we need to run independently as an independent commission. As a matter of fact, as an independent agency. That's how we should go as an what do you call it? Yeah. An autonomous agency. There it is.
That's the word. Yeah.
Autonomous agency. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
Well,
I
that's my
agree,
point.
Vice Chair.
Okay, we need
Yeah.
to go that way. I want to think we'll make an appointment and we'll talk to the speaker regarding that matter because that's
Thank
you.
not,
Exactly.
this is not public monies. All I can say.
okay, I thank Commissioner.
That's it. That's
Commissioner
all I can
Camacho had
say.
her hand up.
Yeah, Mr. Vice Chair, you're absolutely correct. And I remember a few years ago, we had this discussion about being autonomous. I don't know if you recall, but it was early on after I became a member. There was a discussion about moving in that direction. And I think that it's valid and perhaps we need to look into how do we achieve that.
Yeah, look at GPA, public monies too. Board Authority of Guam, public monies. We pay them
Yeah,
to
nonetheless, I
operate
think,
our port facilities. We pay them to operate our airport. We pay them to run our power system.
Yeah.
That's public monies. But us, this is original. This is a very unique commission. You don't find this commission anywhere on the world. I don't think so.
yeah, and as the director said, we've been very responsible. I don't think that the commission or the director has done anything to not have trust from the public or the people that we are here to serve. So
I think we need to
completely
have
agree.
we'll meet with our oversight chair and then discuss this matter, among other matters. I have another point, but I will put that on a separate note and I'll share that with the chairman. And I would suggest that we do that as soon as possible. We're talking about people's lives here, you know? So easy to just to say, oh yeah, cut. But we have people's lives. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, the commission, the COTC had a very crucial media last night with one of that, with
Yes.
the Kanata, you know, we're all getting into hot water. Let's bring it all out in the
Yeah.
open.
Yes, I remember that.
Well, I concur with our Vice Chair and also Commissioner Camacho.
And
We
anyway-
have been very responsible in our work with ancestral lands and the trust. I think where our legal counsel is going at, I think, is just that, you know, we are public officials in charge of private funds, which the courts have deemed it's not public funds, it's actually private funds, and it belongs to the ancestral land owners, the beneficiaries of
Yes.
the trust.
Yeah, and generally, all of us commission members are heirs as part of our requirement.
That's right. That's
as
part of our
members.
requirement. That's the
Yeah.
qualification.
By the way,
is that
before I leave, I would just like to thank our director, Mr. Birch. I watched the hearing. You and Director Borja did an excellent job that hearing where you defended the yourselves, and it was sharp. It was well set out in public. I just want to congratulate you both. Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
All that in the legislature. Well done. Thank you. Very good.
when was that hearing? That was the hearing yesterday?
We've
No.
been in so many hearings.
Yeah, that was not
We're
yesterday's
lost.
hearing.
We got so many hearings. Hello.
No, it's not the one where the Guam Memorial Hospital area where Chris malfunction was. It was the one before that, and they were
The
explaining
oversight.
right the process in which the
Okay.
16 sites were selected, and Joe Borja nailed them. I swear to God, they were in awe. They did not know what to say. It was that's how I saw it. It was
Wow.
well done. I was clapping from inside my house. Good job.
Is that the 184?
Good job.
Yes.
Yeah. You know
Director?
what? He gave a actual example, Joe Borja, for every single situation. He gave a real life example so that people can relate to what he was saying. He even said, we kept stop talking about Ipa Point, Oka Point. Let's go by lot number. And then they asked him about the value. He goes, he's not an appraiser. He's just an
Yeah.
expert in land. It was so good. I
that's-
swear to God, you guys got to watch it.
Okay, so that's on Bill 18437, where
Yeah.
the commission passed a resolution to lease or sell property for use for the medical complex. That's what our vice chair is
Yeah.
talking about. But yes,
And I didn't-
that's our
and
bill
I-
that
and-
the governor
Yeah.
sponsored.
And I didn't want to
Well-
be there either because I knew you guys would take care of it.
Yeah,
Well,
we do our best. Thank
Yeah,
I'm
you.
gonna
we
make
do-
it a point to go and look at that particular
Yeah.
hearing. But
Watch that one.
if our chair is
Chair.
congratulating you,
You got
and,
it.
Mr. Borja,
swear.
congratulations on that.
Really.
Job well done.
I'll let him
Job
know.
well done.
Thank you.
I think
Yeah,
even
thank you.
Gina,
I think we're deviating just a little bit. So if no further questions for our director, let's move
That's it.
on.
Yes, we have an
We're gonna
agenda.
move down to. Okay, thank you. Let's move down to item number 5, Gita progress report.
Yes. Hopefully, good afternoon, Chairman Laguarnia, Chairman Aclavea, Vice Chair Laguarnia, and all commission members. My name is Tony Ariola, representing Gita, and along with me today is our RBD manager, Diego Maniola, our supervisor, Mary Camacho, our project manager, Mr. Mike Cruz, and of course, Megan Obispo, our program coordinator. I'm here today to present the Gita monthly progress report. The following is a progress report on Gita's efforts to manage land bank trust properties as required by Section 1 of the MOU between Gita and the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission Trust. First one on the list is our tenant Weddingale Junction, Northern Market, located on Route 3. Their monthly rent of $27,854.51, and their outstanding balance of $1,744,922.26. The GALC board members, GALC and Gita conducted a work session on October 20, 2023 in addressing and exploring ways forward with Northern Market to address their arrears, along with their increased revenues for GALC in the long term. The work sessions are ongoing. Apra Harbor Parcel Number 1, Quick Space down in PD. Their monthly rent of $4,029.02 with an outstanding balance of $0. Their last payment received on November 3rd, 2023. The Apra Harbor Reservation, that's the Matson property, also down in PD. Their monthly rent of $27,733 with an outstanding balance of $0, and their last payment received on November 7, 2023. Next one on the list is the Lot Upper Harbor Reservation F12-R2. That's the Trans Steel half-acre property of their monthly rent of $500 and their outstanding balance at $7,500. Their last payment was received on November 2nd, 2023. And the GALC board approved their payment proposal that was presented on October 11, 2023. Next one on the list is the Tengisan Cable Landing Station. That's the AT&T building up in by NCS Beach, Route 3. Their monthly rent of $22,939.42. Their outstanding balance is $0. And their last payment received on November 3rd, 2023. Currently, GIDA, GALC, and FEMA are collaboratively working together on the typhoon damage assessment claims that are still ongoing. The first damage assessment site inspection was conducted on October 31, 2023. Their next last and final FEMA inspection will be on December 5, 2023 at 10 a.m. The next one on the list is the Lot Upper Harbor Reservation F12. That is the Smith Bridge property down at Polaris Point. Their monthly rent of $8,800. Their outstanding balance of $0. And their last payment received on November 6, 2023. Lot 10155, that's the Farmers Co-op Association of Guam. Their annual rent of their CY 2021 with an outstanding balance of $0. And their annual rent that's due of CY 2022, their outstanding balance of $7,458.52. Just for information for the board, their CY 2021 annual lease payment was paid off on October 5th, 2023. That was in a payment plan, and that was the last final payment made. Pending the CY 2022 annual lease payment due, the follow-up payment was made on November 22nd, 2023, and the tenant stated that they are currently working in processing an approval of remittance of the payment soon. You know, I got the latest status via email that they're trying to cut a check before the end of this week. They mentioned something like December 1. So that's pretty good news for us. Moving on down to properties. Guam Environmental Protection Agency building in Tizan. Their monthly rent of $8,000. Their outstanding balance of $296,000. Their last payment made on May 9, 2023. We're pending a lump sum payment of $48,000 that was approved on November 9 through purchase order number P246A 00943. That payment should be coming in anytime soon. GIDA, GALC, and FEMA, they're collaboratively working together in typhoon damage assessment claims that are also still ongoing. Their first damage assessment site inspection was conducted on November 1, 2023, along with a final FEMA inspection to be done on December 4th, 2023 at 10 a.m. Department of Public Health Social Services, that's the WIC building in Teton as well. Their monthly rent of $8,400 with their outstanding balance of $29,099.35. GIDA received a lump sum payment of $42,000 on October 18, 2023. Also, GIDA, GALC, and FEMA are collaboratively working together on their damage assessment claims that are ongoing. And their first damage assessment site inspection was conducted on November 1, 2023. Their next final FEMA inspection will be December 1, 2023. That's this coming Friday at 10 a.m. Last but not least, on the F12 Polaris mitigation plan with Smith Bridge. We're still pending updates on the task orders from Smith Bridge, Guam, for the following task order 1 of $500, where Smith Bridge agrees to pay PCR Environmental to determine whether the Brownsville grant can be applied or used to restore the contaminated 5-acre site at Polaris Point. And if that happens, they move on to task order 2 for the amount of $2,000 at their expense. That is to prepare a Brownsville cleanup grant application with the US EPA. You know, hopefully soon we'll be getting more updates from Smith Bridge. The last I heard, or the latest I heard, is they're currently working with PCR Environmental and Smith Bridge in their final draft, I believe, for this mitigation plan. So we'll be getting something sometime soon. No date was given. That was the latest I've got from Mr. Dan Swavely and Smith Bridge, Guam. This concludes the GITA monthly progress report. And please feel free to ask if there's any questions. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. Tony, I thought I read that you did receive the 48,000 already. Did it say that? Did you receive that check already? I thought I was reading that.
No, the purchase order was just processed.
Okay.
Approved.
Because there's no receipt on that.
No receipt yet.
I thought I read it because the balance went down to 29,000, right?
Oh, that's a WIC.
That's what, yeah.
The lump sum, right?
So
Department of
that you
Public-
received that check. That was a big check of 48,000. It's a good one.
42,000. Vice Chair.
42,000. Okay.
That's correct.
Now with another matter with co-op. Now, that's 22's balance. They own 7,000. What's the matter with that, with the co-op? Those guys are generating revenue. There's a lot of things going on up there. They're even renting out, I believe, the postal service there. They also have other operations that are going on there. I'm just looking at it from the outside. I'm not, I didn't go and scout it out, but I saw there's a postal service there. They do Tuesday night food trucks. They have also, I don't know, there's a lot of things going on. So I suggest you look into that matter, please.
Sure, we'll certainly do, Mr. Vice Chair. You know, I want to stand correcting now that we're in the subject of farmers co-op. They had mentioned that they're going to cut 50% of the CY 2022 annual payment by the end of this week.
Oh, you mean they're going to cut a payment make a payment?
They're going to make a payment. They're going to remit a
They
payment.
cut a check. Okay, there. I just want to clarify. All right, thank you. That's very good. Guys, I have to go, man. Texting you guys, I gotta leave. I'm gonna get a ticket or I'm not gonna make it. Okay, can I be excused?
Okay.
I have no other matters, and you leave it up to your hands. Okay, you still have a quorum.
Okay, very good. Okay, we're all good. We're all good. Director, we're good, right? Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes,
Vice
we still have a quorum.
Okay, Vice Chair, be
Vice
safe.
Chair.
Can you still hear me, Director?
Yes, I can hear you clear.
Oh, okay. I'm getting buffering on my side. So, any questions for Gita? Any more questions for Gita? And my phone is buffering. Sorry about that. I didn't see anybody had their hands up.
No, Mr. Chair, I don't see anybody with their hands up.
Okay. No further questions. Gita, thank you for your report. Sijus Masi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, and the rest of Gita.
So much. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Okay, let's
Gita's
move
gonna
on
stay with
down
us
to
because Gita will remain with us because of old business.
our next item on the business, item number 6. I'm sorry, Director.
No, Gita will remain with us. They're not leaving the meeting
Understood. Okay,
because of
understood.
old
Okay,
business.
so
We have both items are with Gita.
okay, very good. we're on item number 6, old business. Our director, my phone is giving me a, so old business. A, Northern Market, counter proposal continuance.
Half a day, commissioners. This is Diego Mendiola with GITA still. Um, uh, just to report to the commission, we did have a work session. So the status of that work session is that, Northern Market does have a counter proposal at this time. Mr. Champ Eduardo Calvo is on the line. Sir, if you would like to present it yourself, or if you want me to describe it, it's up to you.
I can go ahead and explain it, Diego, if you prefer.
Or
Does that work?
it's up to you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So first of all, thank you for entertaining us, commission members and chairman. We and GITA. This has been a difficult project, and our team has been working fairly hard under pretty difficult circumstances and changing circumstances over the years. And we've invested quite a bit of time and resources and money in getting this project to where we are right now. But we're at a point where we have to amend the lease if this project's going to be feasible. Right now, there's I'm sad to say there's an accrued amount of rent that we owe under the existing lease agreement, and then we're coming and saying that asking for an abatement of rent so that we can get the construction project going. The circumstances have changed, not only on Guam and the economy and the labor force and the construction costs, but also the tenant mix. So we've worked real hard over the last year or so trying to get the right tenant mix to get people interested in doing this project or being involved in this project. So we have secured the commitments from several tenants and a bank to go forward, but we're going to need to amend the lease obligation to allow us to get the project off the ground. We understand that it's been a long haul for the commission, and there's been no revenue coming in to speak of. But what we're asking is that if you allow us to do this, we'll have an accelerated pay down once the project is up and we get it tenanted and we have revenue coming in. And with that, we hope to get the arrears and the rent during the construction period paid with a higher payback so that the commission gets the money first rather than the developer. And what we propose is that after the project is done, 50% of the income from the project be used to pay down the rent until it's current. And we don't think that that's going to be very long, because we think that if we're able to move forward, we'll be able to secure these tenants and get them in place and locked in so that the revenue, once the project's done, can start coming in. The developer will subordinate its interests in the project and the revenue until the commission's made whole and we get back on track with regular monthly payments. If we don't do that, the feasibility of the project is highly in doubt, and we'll probably, have to make a decision not to go forward with the project, and then we're back to square one, or the commission would back to square one. So what we're really asking for is more time now that we've gotten to a position where we can actually get some traction and get the project started. That's generally what we propose. And Jenny, who was working mostly with Diego, had more detail in the proposal, and she's unavailable this afternoon, so I'm sort of pinch hitting for her. So that's generally our proposal, and we've given the information to GITA. We've given projections and pro formas and things like that. So while we're confident with this change, we can get the project up and running and get it to be an income producing project for the commission, not only in the short term, but for a long term, since this is a long-term lease.
Is it okay if I jump in, Chan?
Yeah. No, please.
Okay. All right. As Mr. Calvo indicated, Northern Market give us, did give us some numbers. So I emailed something to Joey. Joey, could you pull up and share screen the Excel spreadsheet that I sent? Yes, okay. Could you scroll up, Joe? Okay, Commission, what you're looking at, all the way to the top, Joe? Okay, what you're looking at is the arrears. This is in a nutshell, what Mr. Calvo has just described. In a nutshell, Northern Market is asking for just a little bit more time with regard to, rent deferment. So in order just to give you just to give you some illustration of what Northern Market is requesting for, I did this spreadsheet. I shared it in the working session that we had. So on the left-hand side is the arrears as they build up. Right now we're at 2023, September to December. And Joey, could you scroll down? Scroll down to, yeah, right there. Okay. So that's good, Joey. As far as and ask for a continued, deferment of arrears, the request takes it down to 2027, the middle of the year, June. Now, Northern Market proposes to begin paying their monthly rent, which I just rounded to 30,000 a month, plus 50% of their profits to Ancestral, which equates to 100,000 additional to Ancestral. Now, the first question, or a common question, would be, so when does the full arrears get paid if Northern Market accepts this? Joey, could you scroll down a bit? So from okay, yeah, right there's good. So from 2027 to the middle of 2029, we're looking at just, roughly, 2 years. If the commission accepts Northern Market's proposal, then all arrears will be paid by 2029, middle of the year. Moving forward, what that means is that Ancestral will still continue to get its monthly rent plus the 50% of profit, which equates to 100,000 a month. So that comes out to 130,000 a month per annum. That would mean 1.56 million per annum. Now, just as an exercise, Gita took a look at what does that mean for the rest of the term of the lease, which means 33 years to 2064. That would equate to 51.48 million for the life of the lease. Now, just as a hypothetical, if the commission were not to accept Northern Market's proposal and everybody walk away, then just hypothetically, what would it look like if the commission were to get another tenant who begins paying twice the amount, just as a hypothetical, twice the amount as that Northern Market will be paying as far as monthly rent goes? Now, this would equate to an annual 720,000 a year. And for the life of the lease that would be left over, the commission would be looking at 28 million for the life of the lease, as opposed to 51 million. So really what this means is that, it's a more of a long-term gain as opposed to a short-term. So in a nutshell, this is what the Northern Market proposal looks like as far as, numbers go. That's all I have. Thank you, Joey, for helping me to share screen, because I don't know how. That's all I got to assist Mr. Calvo in his
Okay,
his
well,
proposal.
thanks for that graphic illustration, Diego. That's correct. I guess the point is, and the way we've looked at it, if we were to look at this project starting now, we probably wouldn't do it. We've committed to do this project, and we've invested quite a bit of our funds to get the project off the ground with all the changes. This originally started out as a big box retail center, but all the big boxes have gone away. Many of them have gone bankrupt. And anyone who's involved in development on Guam knows how difficult and as expensive it is. So the idea of developing a shopping center at this point in time, especially if you're going to start from scratch, doesn't make any sense. But we're committed to do this, and really, in essence, treat Ancestral Lands as an equity partner, even though it's going to be in the form of additional rent, because of the fact that we have this lease and that we've spent this time and your patience and I guess hope and faith that this project will go through counts and means a lot to us. And when we start something, we want to finish it, but it has to be economically feasible. Even if we're not going to make as much of a return as we otherwise would, we think that we have, if we get cooperation from the ancestral lands, the moral obligation to go forward with it. And so that's what we propose. And if we didn't do this, it'd be a shame. What would happen was that would be that, I guess we'd start from scratch, or you'd start from scratch, and we'd have to figure out what to do with that. Really, a lot that is a strategic and great lot for what we envision, but it's just a difficult time to develop. I mean, I just don't think that it'd be very easy to find a tenant to come in and then go through the process of getting the lease approved and negotiating it to get it done. So we're asking for the consideration to allow us to see if we can get this done under very difficult circumstances and providing a much bigger upside for the ancestral lands and on one hand, on the other hand, far less of a return for the developer, just because it's been difficult for us and it's taken a while. So that's what we propose, and if the commission finds it in their interest to go forward with that, we're happy to move forward. We have our reservations. We have our commitment letter from the bank. That's all pending the modifications to the lease that we can go forward. And if the commission decides not to do it, I mean, we would understand, and we'd go from there.
Well, thank you, Mr. Calvo. I know we never met. Your reputation precedes you, but thank you for making this meeting and making your case. I do have a question for Diego.
Yes, sir.
Is this a modification of the last time we spoke regarding the last proposal regarding the participation rent, or it's actually the same proposal?
Well, sir, it's more of a clarification.
It's more of clarification, yeah. So it's some way keeps the lease, the integrity of the lease intact, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It does.
And so it's pretty much dealing with that participation rent, or it's just not in the same language?
It's a participation rent. Legal previously had a concern about changing terms of the RFP. So in collaborating with legal, in order to preserve the existing lease, then the only way that this would work is to do it via participation rent. So this was the 50% that I had mentioned in the previous meetings that Northern Market is willing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'd like to open up any questions for the to the board
I have
members.
a question. I have a question.
Okay, Madam Secretary, Madam Treasurer.
Yes, you had a committee to take a look at the proposal. Now, if Mr. Cabo presenting what the task force has agreed on, because so that's one of my questions. And the other one is that you're going to have to amend the lease. They're asked to amend the lease. And thirdly, we've gone to this before where things were discussed and promises were made on the payments, arrears, and lump sum payments. So I just, it looks like a great plan. We need to know, based on recommendations from Mr. Diego, is this going to be a better plan from what, from the original lease agreement that we have? Is there advantages or disadvantages? And again, this the task force, which is one of them is Commissioner Wesley and Mr. Burtz, and of course Gita staff. We need to see a written recommendation. It's good that it's presented, but we need to hear from the task force. Unless Mr. Diego is recommending that we approve this proposal from Mr. Capo or Bettingale Company Market.
Okay, Commissioner, I'll try to answer all of those, all of the questions. Number one, as far as the task force goes, I did work with director to, schedule the working sessions as requested. We did, but unfortunately, only one member was able to make it, for whatever reason. So, we still pressed forward as far as what this as far as the task force that would report, uh, we are unable to, as a task force, just because especially Miss Westling, Commissioner Westling was not able to attend, so we're unable to report as a task force. I think question number 3 was about is this a better is amending the lease would be better for the commission, with the illustration that I provided, or that was provided on the spreadsheet just now. It just shows what the what the commission would be looking at as far as accepting Northern Market's proposal or rejecting. And so I did that just as a as a compare and contrast. The what are the pros? Pros are, the commission is in accepting Northern Market's proposal, the commission could potentially be receiving twice as much revenue in the long term of the lease. What is the the cons? The cons is the cons of not accepting Northern Market's proposal is that we would have to go out for a new tenant, and just even based on a hypothetical, being able to find a tenant that would be willing to pay twice as much as what Northern Market is already paying, would still result in less than half of the revenue that the commission could get in the long term. Another con is that this RFP was the last RFP to come in under the 5-year law, or before the 5-year law came into effect. So another con would be trying to find another tenant to generate revenue off this property, but still have to take a negotiated lease for more than 5 years down, for legislative approval. So those are all the cons that that we had discussed in the working sessions, as well as various meetings with with myself and the director. I also asked Mr. Ed Camacho, our business manager, to to jump in on the call to provide any comments he might be able to provide. So our role is just to present the facts to the commission, pros and cons. This is what they are, and I guess take it from there. So Ed, do you have anything to add into this?
Diego, I think you did a very good job, and thank you for the commission and for Mr. Cabo for being here today. Diego and I have been working on this, and from my perspective, as the Business and Economic Development Manager for the Guam Economic Development Authority, we have not seen a lot of interest over the last 3 to 4 years, 5 years since COVID for businesses coming in looking for government leases. It's just times are very tough. As a matter of fact, we're seeing businesses closing down every now and then because we have still not come out of the low numbers from our tourist arrivals. What we do at GITA, basically, and what we've been doing for the last 2 years, is trying to figure out ways to diversify our economy to try to entice new revenues, businesses starting up in Guam. And it's been a very challenging time for us, unlike Hawaii or the continental United States, where they don't have the problems we have. Our economy is based on what's going on in Asia, and based primarily in the tourism industry. So relating to this developer who needs a little more time, I personally think you're going to benefit. The commission will benefit. The island will benefit in the long run. And I heard what Commissioner Laguardia said about where the commission generates its funding. You do not get any appropriation from the legislature. This would be a win-win for the commission, but it's a long-term relationship with the developer. It's unfortunate they've had some challenges getting to where they're at today, But I think, in my opinion, in the long run, you're going to see substantially more revenue coming in to the commission for the landowners down the road. And like what Diego was saying, you still have to go out for an RP, and we get investors coming into Guam regularly asking to lease government property. But when you have to go to get a lease over 5 years to get it to go down to the legislature with a determination of need, I don't think there's any been approved since in that process. So it may be a challenge to Diego, even with the sample you put together. If you double the rent, that may not even be a possible thing. So you have somebody on a potential, you have a tenant now. It's just a matter of, the long-term effect versus you want to try and go out and start the process, roll the dice and try to start the process all over again. And I think that's what the commission has to decide on. Thank you.
Does that answer your questions, Commissioner? I hope we were able to answer all of your questions.
She's on mute.
Commissioner Cruz, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. One of the other questions is that suppose we disagree with the proposal, we still be able to collect back rent and interest, right? I'm not saying this is discouraging, the new proposal. I'm just saying that we still can collect the back rent. Now, I think the commission should really review a written recommendation and the spreadsheet, and we should deliberate and present this in another meeting. And Diego, don't forget that this is your recommendation now. Thank you. To approve, rather. If you want it approved, if you think it's a really good deal, then submit the written proposal with your recommendation, Diego. Thank you.
Well, actually, I don't think Gita is recommending to approve. I think they're just presenting the pros and the cons of. I don't think they're recommending. They're just giving us the pros and the cons, and then we make the decision.
I do mention every now and then when we have to make a decision on our leased properties that we always ask Gita for their recommendation. It still sticks. I need his recommendation.
Diego, do you want to clarify on that?
Yes, sir. In speaking to my director, our director, Mel had cautioned about Gita making a direct recommendation. The reason being is that is that she wants us to be careful as far as swaying decisions that are not ours. So my directions were present all of the facts and allow the commission to decide. As this is their property, not our property. So I said, okay. So she said, present the facts and, the pros and cons and lay it all out there and, be truthful, be honest. And, this is what it is. This is what it looked like if the commission were to go one way, and this is what it would look like for the commission to go the other direction. So, lay that out as best as possible to the best of your ability and, let them decide. So that's what I believe Mr. Chairman is saying. I hope I answered your question adequately.
Kind of disappointed because I, for one, am always asking your recommendation. If you recall that. And so if henceforth we have a problem with any of the requests for lease approval, or we're having problems with the tenants, so are you saying that from here on you can't, submit a recommendation whether, to approve these proposals or?
I think, Commissioner, I think that goes for.
I guess we can leave it later, okay? Then we can just.
Well,
but,
I think it applies for every single RFP that comes out or any type of proposal. The most they can do is not urge us. They can't really urge us to approve it, they can say the benefits and the pros and the cons, and we make a decision on it. But for them to say to us to approve, I think it's gonna put them
That's
in a
just one of
spot.
that's one of the situations. There are other situations where we asked for their recommendation when they present a problem to us. But that's just one of that, okay? And so we can discuss this later on because it's not on the agenda. But I am asking for a written, for a Northern Market to submit a written proposal on, on their on this deferment of rent.
Yeah, Commissioner Cruz, if I could, I mean, I understand Diego's position and his instructions from his superior, I think the director, but if I understood what Diego said, he said that he was instructed not to give an explicit recommendation. I think that in describing the facts and the circumstances, I think Mr. Camacho laid out the facts and the circumstances. And even though he prefaced his comments as personal, I think he gave a recommendation that he prefaced as personal, not on Gita's behalf. We can, as a party to the lease, we can lay out, quite frankly, the pros and cons from our perspective that you can either accept or reject, but it's coming from our side. But we'll be as objective as possible, and we'll lay out the consequences of going forward or not going forward with our recommendation. Remember, Northern Market, even though our resources and going into Northern Market come from different places, and we've probably invested close to $2 million in cost, not to mention the time and the effort, and really calling on our network of business relations to get these tenants to come into Northern Market and to come in. But we can also give you the cons that you can consider, keeping in mind it's coming from us. Remember, Northern Market is a single purpose entity. This is its only asset, is this project, and it's made up of different partners. You know, my group has a majority, but it's made up of different partners. And so we can explain to you the consequences of the lease or the project not going forward as well. And then you can filter it yourself or have Gita try to filter it. And, trying to respect what Diego has presented. We can give you our view of it, and you can accept or reject or consider it, and we can go from there. And we're happy to do that to you, for you in short order, to decide whether or not this is something you want to go forward with.
Hey,
Let me
Mr. Calvo, I appreciate it. Yes, can you go ahead and
please? Sorry. Because I was asking Gita to be the one to let us know the pros and cons, not from the developer. And I'm asking from the developer a written, a request on the deferment of rent. All that you said today, we'll like it in a written form.
Okay, for sure.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner Cruz, we'll repackage it. We've provided information to Gita as sort of the go-between.
Yes, to Gita, and then
we'll go ahead and give you a formal proposal on the request, and we'll make it as detailed as possible, and we'll put it from our perspective again, the pros and cons of going with the project or not going with the proposal, if that's helpful.
And again, that has to come from Gita under the pros and cons.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, what would happen is when you present the pros and the cons to Gita, they'll filter it, and
okay, for sure.
If it's all good, they'll present it to us.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Calvo.
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any other questions? On my perspective, I based on everything that's been presented and the way it looks as of now, I'm actually I see the advantages of moving forward with their proposal. Not given the amount that is owed. I mean, yes, we have given some considerations for those in arrears, government agencies and private. Although this is definitely a bigger amount. I think the intention is the same, but the way I look at it, considering Carlos had some problems in the past economically with the labor And he did spend a lot of money. I think his intent, I don't see any ill intent on their part not to try to succeed. So this proposal sounds actually very good, considering the fact that after the arrears is paid up, we're still looking at that participation rent of 50%. To me, it's a no-brainer. The only thing is that what's everybody's concern is that arrears, that it's going to be paid within so many years. I can see the concern of the board with that. But Carlos has a reputation, of course, the Calvos. If they can't pull this off, then something's wrong somewhere. So that's just my view as a commissioner, not as a chairman. As a commissioner, I see the advantage of still moving forward with this. But let's continue to let Gita do their work, get that information from Mr. Calvo on the advantages and disadvantages, and let's make a informed decision on this. But as of now, I like it a lot. So if no further questions, we'll move on.
Mr. Chair, this will be on the agenda of the next meeting as old business. And
Okay.
I guess, Mr. Calvo, you will have your proposal by then?
Yes,
That is about 2 weeks from now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, gives you a couple of weeks, gives Gita.
Can we get it at least 3 days before the meeting so we can look at it? Give us a chance to review it. Don't present it to us at the meeting. Thank you.
We'll give it to Gita way in advance of the meeting. Certainly before 3 days, and leave it to Gita to get it to you. Unless we're instructed to give it directly to the commission. It's whatever you decide. Would you prefer to get it directly?
It'll be to Gita.
No, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, please give it to Gita. Gita, yeah, give it to Gita.
Okay.
Commissioner Camacho?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I recall correctly, we created a subcommittee. So if our subcommittee can take that information and present to the rest of us board members or commissioners to consider. I do believe we did create that, correct?
Yes, you are correct, Commissioner.
We have a subcommittee.
Yeah, so I'd like to hear from the people who are looking at this proposal and it's great that Gita present the pros and the cons, but I think it's good to hear from the commissioners who we asked to pay special attention to this. So if our subcommittee can.
Okay, very good,
present
Commissioner. Let's
as well.
Commissioner Camacho. Okay, so Gita, let's go ahead and get the information, and then schedule we'll schedule a work meeting with the subcommittee.
Yes, sir. I'll work again with the director to schedule that.
Okay. As soon as it's ready, let us know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, Commissioner Camacho. Okay, so any further questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Calvo, for coming in and making your presentation.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll be back to you shortly. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Happy
you.
holidays, everybody.
Let's move on. Okay, thank you. We're going to move on now to item 6B, AT&T lease renewal requests.
Sir, it's me again.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So yes, AT&T did submit a request, to exercise the options on their lease. This is for the ancestral AT&T property up in Tengisan. However, we need to, Gita, with the blessing of the commission, needs to communicate with AT&T and let them know that their extensions or their options to exercise are dependent on the approval of the legislature to allow this lease to go beyond the 5 years. Now, this lease was written with that in mind. In fact, it's detailed in section 3 of the lease. that says, any options, beyond the initial 5 years would be dependent on the legislature approval. So what this means is that, we need to draft legislation to introduce so that, the senators could introduce and vote on, allowing this lease to go forward. Has this happened before? Yes, it has. Back in 2012 or 2010, Cementon, Guam down at the port, needed, had an existing lease with the port, and went to the legislature to request for extension of time. They went to the legislature and asked for 20 years, and they ended up getting 30 years. But that was, Cementon at the time. We're not sure what the appetite is for, legislative approval of leases. In all honesty, ever since that law came, or since that bill became law, GIDA has not been able to get any lease through. But, hopefully there's a first time for everything. So in a nutshell, what we need to do is introduce or have a senator sponsor draft legislation, which GIDA has already done, to allow this existing lease between Ancestral and AT&T to move forward as already agreed upon in the beginning of the lease. So next steps are just for us to, let AT&T know that, yes, you do have options as was negotiated. However, these options have to wait approval by the legislature. So the process is introduce a bill, it gets, public hearing, voted on, and then pass or no pass will let us know whether or not the AT&T lease can continue as is.
Diego, is it more or less
Yes, sir.
us? Is it more or less us asking the legislature whether we should move forward, or is it we're recommending to the legislature to that we want this to be approved?
We're asking the legislature to approve the lease terms, time to continue as we had negotiated with AT&T.
And that's the good faith part of the lease agreement, that our intention is to continue leasing for the language of the lease, but
Yes, sir.
with the legislature's approval.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. AT&T at the time understood that, 5 years was the maximum. And so any time beyond 5 years would be dependent on legislative approval. So our good faith, the good faith on the Ancestral side is to at least, make a good faith effort to seek approval of the legislature.
Okay, and I understand we've already made that we're in the process of making that request to the legislature. I think our director said that.
We have already drafted the draft legislation, and it would just be a matter of getting a senator to sponsor. Most likely, it would be the land committee oversight, which is the speaker. But any senator can introduce, but in the end, it would still be handled by the land committee of the legislature.
Okay, I guess let's just move forward with however the record. I think the director Birch, you made it. You made it clear the process. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's just go ahead and move forward with it.
So do we have an agreement or a vote from the commissioners, from the board, for us to move forward with requesting the extension through legislation?
In compliance with our lease agreement. Yes.
Yes, in compliance with it. It was mentioned
With
in
our
there. Yes. And
Yes.
if we don't get the other option is, if the legislature does not act on that, we would have to place an RFP out.
Right.
And that's the only other option. So we're to move forward then?
Well, let's get the commissioners take. Commissioners?
Yes.
Commissioners?
Do we
Any
have
questions?
enough members to vote? Remember, unless it's just administrative then. Yeah.
With this, okay, our
Does
legal
it have to be an
counsel,
emotion?
right? Yeah, Yeah, because this does deal with extending a lease, so, but because we already have a lease, I need I mean, can we consider this administrative or operations or
I think
land?
so, sir. I think this is administrative because the lease is already there.
The
So
lease is there.
administratively, yeah. Administratively,
Just-
we're just
Okay.
going to go to
So-
the legislature and ask.
So
to-
then we have a quorum.
Well, I think Diego, you're saying it is administrative, so we don't need to really vote on it because it's already in the lease agreement. So that the administrator or director can just move forward with that. Is that it?
Well, sir, just to show our respect for for your authority.
Yeah, yeah.
You could vote, or you could just direct us to do it.
Three of us director, right, would qualify as
Well,
administrative for quorum?
for
We need 4, and we have 4 members present.
Right, they
Yes.
each have a
Oh,
voice.
yeah, we have Anita there. We have Anita,
Yes.
okay. Unless there's any objections, let's move forward to make the motion.
Can we? We're gonna make a motion and vote on Gita. They've already drafted legislation. Can we at least review it? Can we do that?
We could,
Is
but
there-
basically it's to, the current lease is in place. It's not to make any changes to the current lease. It's just to seek legislation to extend it. I believe for a 5-year period.
But are there any conditions in the existing lease? I don't know. I remember at one
Well,
point there was.
What was included in it, and what they are offering us is, I believe it's fair market value of for rent. And they're just asking us to exercise what is already in the lease, that we make a good faith effort to obtain legislation to extend the lease as soon as it expires or before it expires. We have until September 30th, 2024 to get this done. But knowing the way the legislature works and we're entering an election year, the earlier the better to get it before them. We've had problems.
So is it?
Yes. Yes,
I'm
Commissioner.
sorry. Is it you're saying it's subject to an appraisal? I mean, that's why I just kind of want to.
Well,
I know it's.
I can.
yes, Diego,
Can you-
go ahead.
Can we put it up on the screen, Diego? Can we put it up on the screen? Because
Which
I
one?
think
Which one,
Commissioner
sir?
Camacho, yeah, I can see your concerns.
Okay.
Chair,
Hold on a second.
point of information.
Yes, is that Attorney Gomatato?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't want to have the package of what you want to submit to the legislature in front of you before you entertain any motion to approve? I think that's what the commissioner is getting
Yes.
at. She wants to be able to see everything before she.
Okay,
entertains the motion.
Thank you.
okay, tell
Yeah.
you what, let's delay this and let's have it for the next, let's get it to us before the next meeting, at least
Yeah.
a week or 2 before the next meeting, and then let everybody see. And then at least the section of the lease agreement that we're complying with. So
Okay.
that draft legislation addresses that portion of the lease agreement.
When is,
Okay.
when is the lease agreement, when is the expiration date for the,
Next year.
September 30, 2024. We have about a whole year to do this. So we're working within a timely range here.
yes, and
So
that's
yes, we
5
can
years,
do that.
and that's
It's
5.
right. We just needed to know if you were interested in moving forward on the extension. We'll get the paperwork done, present it to you at the next meeting for your review.
I think it's prudent
The
of
other
us to
option
have
is
the
to RT it.
details.
Well,
Yeah.
to me, 5 years, that's up already, right?
It'll be
And
up on
They
September
want to
30.
extend another 5 years.
Actually, Commissioner Lino,
Or
We
longer,
had-
longer.
it's a long-term lease. The commission negotiated a long-term lease with AT&T with the understanding that any time beyond 5 years would need legislative approval So there's
Yeah.
already options in the lease, and there's already, an escalation schedule
Yeah.
that's based on fair market value. So, everything is already there. It's just asking the legislature to,
Yeah.
approve the extended time beyond 5 years. That's all.
Because that's
Yeah,
5 plus 5, that's 10, so it's beyond. Okay.
Yeah, it kind of
Yes,
looks
yes,
like a 50-year lease, but
Yes,
in 5-year increments. That's what it
yes.
looks
yes,
like.
yes.
And there'll
Yeah,
be no
so
changes to the lease itself.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't see any problem because they're really outstanding payers,
Yes.
they're paying powers there and they have not had any arrears. And I don't see a reason why that it can't go through, right?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. We hope so. We hope that this would be a pretty simple,
Yeah.
yeah.
but
I mean,
it's
here's
when
all
it
the
goes.
others that are in arrears, but a mouthful, handful, armful, and I don't see why one
Yeah,
is very outstanding to be pushed on the side.
these are one of those very rare
Uh-huh.
tenants that are just they're paying. They have no problems, no issues.
No, paying with their
They
paying power, yeah.
they they
And
just
they're
basically.
they're a huge
Yeah, so
group,
this is one
of
of those
course.
ideal tenants. So we think that this would be a an easy ask of the
Easy one,
legislature, but you never know when it goes down.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, so no changes to the lease,
no,
just follow what's in the lease. We could provide that to you. And all they want us to do is exercise for us to do what we said in good faith to request the legislature for an extension.
now
But,
I understand. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
so
was
there will
kind
not
of
be any changes to the contents of the
no
lease itself.
changes. Okay.
By the
Yes,
way, director, in their letter to me,
Yes,
there's they wanted me to acknowledge. Can you have that prepared so that I can although
Well, I think they have a misunderstanding. They believe that that's already been done. I think we have to notify them that this needs legislative action for us to renew. So I'd be cautious about doing or signing
well
any documents.
well, no, there an acknowledgement that I received their letter. It's what it was asking. I think you got the same one, I think. But can you just double check that, or do I need to let legal
I'll-
counsel see it? Because it
Yes,
looks like they wanted me to acknowledge that their letter, and they wanted me
we'll send this to legal.
that. They wanted me to
bef-
re-email that back,
right.
but I didn't do it. I wanted to confer first with you and legal counsel on that.
Yeah, we'll send it to legal to make sure it doesn't
Conflict.
commit.
So you do have a
you know,
copy of that letter that was
Yes,
addressed to
I'm
me?
looking at it right now. Where it
Yeah, and
says,
you
please
notice that the last-
acknowledge your receipt and your agreement to work in
Yeah.
good faith with tenant to extend the lease term by
Yeah.
executing one
Uh,
copy.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
can we get
I want to
legal
make sure
counsel
that,
to just
yes, I'll send it to legal.
okay?
Attorney Gumatata, I'll
And
be
then,
sending this up to you via email for your review. And we'll have
You're
it ready
correct,
for,
Mr. Dave. Yeah, I wouldn't have signed that. You
Right.
did right.
right, and that's my caution with signing it. Already Attorney Gumatato's already recommending against it, but I'll send it to him nonetheless. And we have a whole year almost for this. So
Yeah.
we're working within good time. So to be cautious, I agree with Commissioner Camacho and with Attorney Gumatato to be cautious and
Yeah,
cross
and
every T and dot every I.
I did not, of course, sign it or send it. I was just concerned whether they were trying to put us in the spot of good
Right.
faith.
Very good.
Like if I didn't send it, okay, and I didn't sign it, I'm not being in good faith or something.
Yeah.
So that's why my only concern. But I still didn't sign it. So okay, please send it to legal counsel and have him review it.
I'll do that. And I sent him the other documents on it too earlier, but he didn't have time to review it. That's a lot of material. So, but yes, thank you. We'll place it on the agenda for our next meeting.
Okay, very good. Okay, so no further questions for. Okay, sounds good. So no further questions for AT&T lease renew request.
No.
Okay, No further questions? Okay, we move down to item 7, new business, Director.
Mr. Chair, we do not have any new business to address.
Okay, thank you. Down to item number 8 now, public comments.
Again, we did not have any requests for public comments, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, Director, the next meeting is,
Will be December 13. Will we have a quorum? Do I have enough members here to meet? I would be cautious about placing it any closer to Christmas, as the next after that will be December 20. But the second Wednesday of the month will be December 13 at
That
2
sounds
p.m.
good. That sounds good.
Okay,
good for me.
okay.
Me too.
Okay, Gita, I'd like to thank you again for your report and your presentation. So you just Gita and your staff, thank you. Director, thank you again. GALC staff, Commissioner, Sijus Masi, guys.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Really appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving, and now we got Christmas. Hey, we were celebrating Christmas way before Halloween. Did you notice that? There had Christmas music all over the radios before Halloween. I don't know if you noticed it.
I like to thank Attorney Gumatalto. We now have legal counsel again. It makes me feel more secure having an attorney with us and to guide us, make sure we don't make any mistakes. Thank you, Attorney Gumatalto. Yeah.
Yes, most definitely, and welcome. Thank you for being here and joining us, Sijus Masi.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, any final thoughts?
Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Stay safe.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of accidents out there. Hopefully we can somehow help our people out there slow down. It's the holiday season. Let's enjoy this and don't get killed over it. If you read the paper today, there's been severe accidents out there. So stay safe.
Definitely.
Yeah. Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Okay,
Happy
motion to
holidays.
adjourn? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn? Okay, it's
Thank you.
3:40, I guess, 40 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.